So one of the things, Dickon, is we talk a lot about a key worker relationship. So just help us out. What's the fundamental reason why this is so key?
Yeah. Okay, and it is key. It's one of the core sort of stance features of Ambit that we focus on. And the word we would want to stress is the relationship. Some of the services that perform or are influenced by Ambit would not see themselves as having a key worker system. It's slightly, we've used that word because it made sense to us at the time, but the focus is on developing a therapeutic attachment-based relationship.
Yes.
What do we mean by that?
Yes.
Well, that relates very much to this word mentalising.
Yeah.
And the whole of Ambit is really designed to try to either recover some ability to mentalise in the young person, or even begin to develop it in young people who perhaps really struggled to develop that.
Yeah.
And what we know is that mentalising arises in a relationship.
In a relationship. Yeah.
I learn to mentalise by being mentalised by someone with whom I've got an attachment. Yeah. That may have been a parent or a teacher or an aunt or a grandparent, but someone with whom I have a positive, if you like, therapeutic or nurturing attachment. I see myself written in their eyes or in their mind.
And as I would understand it, what we know about mentalisation is it gets knocked out by any sense of threat or anxiety. So we're trying to create a relationship with a young person in which, as much as we can, we try and ensure that they experience as less anxiety in the relationship as possible, so that they can then start to mentalise in both for themselves and in their relationship with that key worker, because this is in a sense a restorative kind of process.
Yes.
Is that
yes. I mean, in many ways, I think one way of making sense of mentalising in the therapeutic relationship is that it's almost like pre-therapy. It's the prerequisite to do this clever thing called therapy. Therapy happens when I am mentalising.
Yes.
Then I can sit back and do this kind of, why do I do that? Why did my mother say this to me? Well, why do I keep taking drugs when I don't really want to be like that? I can't do that until I can mentalise. Until I can get myself into that frame of mind of, wow, why is that happening? Yeah. So the mentalising approach is really trying to get these young people to that position, that first position where they don't assume that they know, because that's what we do when we're terrified. Yes. We assume that we know. But actually they accept that they're puzzled about what's going on. I'm interested to know what you think is going on for me. That's the kind of relationship that we're trying to foster. And in one of the other stance features, which is kind of right next door to the individual key worker relationship, which is that the key worker is well connected to the team, we'll talk about and we describe how the team works with you, the key worker, to support you in mentalising and helping me in this relationship. Because young people don't always want to make a close relationship. No. The traditional idea of the team around the child, of all these different professionals from different areas, all having their bit to say, works fine with a certain number of young people, in fact probably quite a lot of young people. But for the young people that we're working with, they find that all these people may be well-intentioned, but it feels to them like they're under attack by too many people. And they don't see these people as being connected, they see them as being at war and not getting on. So our kind of team goes around the key worker and supports that relationship with the young person. That's the relationship that we're moving towards, rather than the team around the child in this particular area.
I wonder if I could just try to throw in a bit of an example as to what we're trying to get at with this. The need for having people to support the key worker. Because it seems to me that one of the things that, just giving an example, it seems to me if you listen to a young person who talks about wanting to die, or suggests that they're thinking that they're going to go away and take some tablets, but doesn't quite tell you, and you're in a kind of a bit of a guessing game, and they've done risky things in the past, and then they tell you that when you say I'll see you next week, and they say maybe, and that's the last thing they say, and you're kind of left that these kind of things for anybody just leaves the person, the key worker in our case, leaves them just feeling anxious, understandably and appropriately anxious. And then it's quite hard to then think about why does this young person always just as I'm saying goodbye, just throw me this kind of thing to make me worried. And it's quite hard to think about it on your own. So the idea of the team is it helps you.
We're going to say more about that in the well-connected team bit, but I think it is, the two are very closely bound, aren't they? And that structure is there to support this relationship, which is about helping the young person to kind of mentalise in a relationship.
Okay.